Hello again, RoyZesch.REALTOR with Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to talk to you about something that may be serious to you somewhere down the road. Why hasn't my house sold yet? So you did everything I asked you to do, you put your house on the market, we've been however long, too long in everybody's mind, 30, 45 days, 90 days, maybe 120 days, the house hasn't sold. We've gotten some looks, we've gotten offers, we've gotten some stuff, but we just never can quite get over the hump. So there's lots of reasons that your house may not have sold, but we'll run through a few, and some of them you can do something about and some of them you can't. So the first thing we'll talk about is just the bell curve. If you think of all the houses in the market, and we'll use San Angelo because that's where I am, and they're going to fall along a bell curve, okay? If you're in the center of that bell curve, which today is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house of $175,000-ish is right in the middle of the bell curve. Okay, so the farther you get from that, and that's in a neighborhood in town, maybe an established neighborhood, depending on, the houses will go up a little higher in some of the newer neighborhoods, and but more or less that's kind of the sweet spot. So if you're somewhere around that spot, you've got lots of lookers in the market, okay? So if you're in that spot and you've done all the things that I've asked you to do, going in, got your house cleaned up, you've spruced up, you've kept it clean, you've done the showings, it's priced properly, all those kind of things, and you should be getting a lot of attention on it. If you're not, then there's something we need to look at. But the farther you get from the center of that bell curve, the more difficult it is. The less buyers there are, because the reason there's more houses in the center of the bell curve is because there's more buyers and sellers in that area. So that's the ideal, is you want to be in the middle of the bell curve when you're selling. But that may not be the house that fits you. The house that fits one person is not the same house that's going to fit another person. So you do have to be aware of that. So if you're selling a $50,000, 400 square foot house somewhere, then there's less buyers that are looking in that end of the market, and the same on the big end of the market. If you've got a multi-million-dollar property in the San Angelo area, those things typically don't sell very quickly. There's a very limited supply of buyers in that. Okay, so that's one of the things you look at, the neighborhoods, all those kind of stuff. There's bell curves for all those things. If you've got an 8-bedroom house in a neighborhood of 3- and 4-bedroom houses, it's going to be more difficult to sell. There's just a smaller pool of buyers for that type of a house. So those are the things we can't do anything about. The house is what it is. We can improve it. We can do some little tweaks and stuff, make it look as nice, but we really can't fix that. So let's think of the things that either you or I can do something about. The first is pricing. We know that if a house is priced too high compared to the other houses that are similar to it, similar characteristics, neighborhoods, age, square footage, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, pool, all those kind of things, we can take all those into consideration. If a house isn't priced right, then it is less likely to move. And that is something that, with my advice, we can do. And a lot of times, there's a good reason for it, because it's the simplest thing to fix. It's one of the first things a realtor will want to do. If you're not getting the activity on your house that you want to do, well, let's look at the price, because the price is the way the market tells us, the buyer, the seller, and the agent, that the house is priced too high. If you're not getting the looks on a nice house, then maybe it's priced too high. And sometimes that's clear going into it, and sometimes it's not as clear. You just have to kind of see what everyone thinks of it as you get the house on the market. So that's one of the things you can do. The other thing to look at is the marketing. Okay, so if the marketing isn't done well, and I've talked about pictures and videos and all the things to help market a house, if the marketing is not being done properly, then you're not exposing it to as many buyers. Now, just by being on the MLS in San Angelo, you're going to get put in front of a lot of buyers. You're on the websites of most of the brokerages in town. You're on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, those kind of places just naturally. If you're with Coldwell Banker, which obviously you are if you use me, then you're going to even more places just automatically. And some of the other ones do it too in some cases. There are some advantages to being with Coldwell Banker. We get to some places that not everybody else does, but all those places can be got. You can reach them and get that exposure. Is your agent doing a good job of putting it on Facebook and getting it out? And all the other places that people find out about stuff. It's amazing the people that'll hear about or see about a house just based off a Facebook ad somewhere. So that's something to consider. And then the other part is, are there upgrades that need to be done to your house? Updates that just make it, when you look at the houses in the same price range and the same size range of comparable houses, that it's behind them. Sometimes might or might not make sense, you have two choices. If your house isn't updated enough, you can either do the updates, which you may invest more than you're really going to get back, but at least you may help the house sell a lot quicker. The other choice is to lower the price to offset the update so that someone else can come in and do the updates. You can really run into this if there's some major issues with a house that need to be dealt with. A lot of buyers, if they see a house that they think is going to take $50,000 worth of repairs to get where they want it, well, they're going to discount it by more than $50,000 because A, there's some risk there that they're taking, and B, they want to make a little money on it. So if they think it's going to cost $50,000 to upgrade it to where they want, they're going to, in effect, discount it by maybe $75,000. And so that's something you got to be aware of. So, but again, you may be able to knock that $75,000 off the price, or whatever the number is, probably not that large unless it's really in bad shape, and help the house move a little quicker. So just be aware of that, all the things that can go into it. But the condition of the house is a big factor. And the other one is just the cleanliness, the upkeep, the curb appeal, the flowers, plant fresh flowers in your flower bed, those kind of things seasonally to make it look good. Keep the grass mowed, water it as much as you can afford in San Angelo, and make it look as nice as you possibly can. And all those things will go a long way to doing it. And sometimes it's just a matter of you have to be patient. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, it doesn't happen as quick as we want it to. Every seller out there wants their house to be the one that we put it on the market and tomorrow I have 4 full price offers and 2 offers above full price. It happens, it does, but when it does happen, they're pretty close to that $175,000 type house, and they're in a good neighborhood, they're priced appropriately or maybe even below the rest of the neighborhood to move quick. So it's a nice place to be, but sometimes there's other priorities and you have to adjust your priorities to make sure you're getting what makes sense to you. So marketing, which is a lot of that is what the realtor's done, and you want to make sure you hired a good realtor from the beginning that will market it well. The price is a big issue. If you're priced too much over the market, you just won't get the views. The other things are, your house is what it is. You just have to try to find the buyers that are in the market for that kind of a house. If it's a house in the country on acreage, it's just a smaller buyer pool, and you have to be aware of that, and that may mean longer days on the market. Or it could mean that because it's an unusual thing, you put your house out there and you have a bunch of people jump on it that have been looking for just that. So that's what we hope for, that's what we shoot for, but it doesn't always work that way. So there's some of the reasons the house takes a little bit of time to sell, and sometimes it just does. I mean, it takes a number of showings generally to get good offers, and you just have to take your time, be patient, let the marketing do its job, and sometimes it's time of year seasonally, spring and summer are great times to move houses. If you get more out of that time, it may be Christmas break, that it's much more difficult to get activity at that time of year. So there are some variables like that, but just give it some time, be patient, and if you're priced incorrectly, if I'm telling you you're priced incorrectly, then it's something to seriously consider. That doesn't mean I'm always right or any other agent is already right, but price is one of the easiest things to fix. Quick and easy, 15 minutes I can have your price of your house lowered on the market on the multiple listing service, and then we can see what kind of response we get. So that's it. Any questions or something, give me a call. RoyZesch.REALTOR, 325-268-0775. Thank you.